A teenage profiler named Cassie sits across a cold steel table from a chained maximum security inmate. The man across from her is Daniel Redding, a serial killer known for brutally binding and branding his victims. Redding initiates a calculated psychological attack. He targets Cassie by planting seeds of doubt about her boyfriend, Dean, who happens to be Redding's own son. He asks Cassie if she ever wonders how close Dean is to snapping her neck. Cassie ignores the provocation. She initiated this meeting to confront Redding about a specific claim he made months prior, that she would never find the man who murdered her mother. Cassie absorbs the abuse from a psychopath entirely by choice. She will endure Redding's psychological warfare if it extracts a single detail about her mother's unsolved case. Cassie operates within a clandestine FBI program called the Naturals. The unit recruits teenagers with highly specialized abilities, utilizing members like Sloan to calculate statistical probabilities and Leah to detect behavioral deception with perfect accuracy. Monitoring the interrogation from behind a two-way mirror, Leah confirms a terrifying truth. Redding's claim wasn't a taunt. Cassie will never find her mother's killer, because her mother is alive, currently held hostage by a network of killers. The parameters of the investigation instantly shift. The Naturals stop analyzing cold case files and pivot to tracking a highly organized, active criminal syndicate. The team must deploy their profiling skills in real time. To pull Cassie's mother out alive, they have to anticipate the physical movements of a live network of killers. The syndicate holding Cassie's mother identifies itself as the Masters. The organization operates as a coordinated cult composed of 7 distinct serial killers. The cult's operational structure follows a predictable progression of violence, beginning with drowning and moving systematically through other methods. By tracking this sequence, the FBI maps the path directly to the 7th killer. His method is poison, and he operates under the alias Nightshade. The team cross-references the alias against decades-old police sketches and records, eventually uncovering Nightshade's true identity, a man named Mason Kyle. Kyle's newly uncovered background exposes a childhood steeped in historical violence, including the brutal, unsolved murders of his own parents and grandfather. Connecting Mason Kyle's true identity to property disputes and local records provides the FBI with their first physical location, an isolated compound called Serenity Ranch. Exposing the real names and addresses of the perpetrators fractures their mystique. The cult members transition from untraceable phantoms into documented suspects with physical vulnerabilities. The pressure of the active hunt triggers the team's internal fractures. The personal nature of the crimes forces them to confront their unhealed wounds. Michael channels his history with a violent father into a dark obsession, staring at crime scene photos for hours. Sloan isolates herself, acutely aware that she lacks the social manipulation skills her peers use so effortlessly. A shared anxiety threatens to break the unit. Because several members share direct biological ties to abusers and murderers, they worry they carry those exact same destructive traits in their own DNA. The Naturals have to reconcile their genetics. To defeat the cult, they must conquer the fear that they are destined to become the monsters they are hunting. Agents digging at Serenity Ranch unearth the physical reality of the cult's reach, extracting multiple bodies buried across the property. The identification of one specific victim changes the scope of the investigation. The discovery of Sarah Simon ties a localized string of killings directly to the broader Masters conspiracy. The dates of death reveal a glaring anomaly. These victims were not killed decades ago. The murders are recent, proving the cult is currently operating and escalating its violence. The team realizes the evidence isn't being found by accident. The Masters anticipate the FBI's methodology, intentionally placing physical clues to steer the investigation. The cult begins executing individuals connected to the Naturals' previous cases, forcing the teenage profilers out of their secure locations. The power dynamic inverts. The FBI is no longer initiating the hunt. The cult dictates the terms, drawing the naturals into the open as prey. The precision of the cult's countermeasures reveals a disturbing fact. The killers know the FBI's internal procedures too well. The evidence stops pointing to external suspects and aims directly inside the bureau. The mastermind running the syndicate is FBI Director Sterling. He manipulated the Naturals program, orchestrating violence from the highest level of federal law enforcement. Sterling operates on extreme narcissism. He views conventional serial killers as sloppy amateurs, while he considers himself a superior artist capable of curating a flawless network of death. Cassie turns her elite profiling skills against her own boss. She intentionally challenges his ego, exploiting his need for superiority to force him into a verbal confrontation where he reveals his hand. The teenagers were placed directly in the crosshairs by the exact institution designed to protect them. The fallout of that confrontation is swift. The FBI neutralizes 9 killers in a single night, dismantling the 7 masters, an apprentice, and Director Sterling himself. Amid the wreckage, Cassie secures the answers she wanted. She learns the truth about her mother's actions, forcing her to reconcile the warm parent she remembers with the dark reality contained in federal files. Rather than letting the trauma isolate her, she brings her extended family together. She shares the reality of her mother's life and death, choosing to integrate the pain instead of hiding from it. The surviving naturals sit together in the aftermath. Each has faced their parents' violent legacies and actively decides to reject that inheritance. Biology does not dictate destiny. The naturals survive the darkness of their bloodlines because they actively choose the family they built together.